As you can see, I take a lot of supplements, but lately this guy has been by far my favorite. So let's get into it. Hey guys, I'm Shoma, and let's face it, most nootropic supplements don't work. They don't do as advertised. I remember about 3 years ago, once I watched Limitless, I'm like, oh man, I gotta find me some nootropic supplements. I have to boost my brain using all of these chemicals. But I went out and I bought a whole bunch and I tried them, and frankly, none of them worked. Now, I know I have a unique biology, as everybody has a unique biology, meaning different supplements work for different people. However, when none of them work for you, you get a little bit dissuaded. And things like modafinil, Adderall, Ritalin, the pharmaceuticals, they do work, but they usually come at very heavy costs, and I'm not talking about money. However, about a year ago, one of my good friends introduced me to Alpha GPC, which soon became my favorite supplement. And shortly after that, another one of my friends introduced me to Gorilla Mind, which I think is a really good stack, and specifically really good for introducing Alpha GPC. So I've been taking Alpha GPC and Gorilla Mind for about a year now, and here are my thoughts. The video is going to be structured like this. First, I'm going to go through Alpha GPC and what it kind of does and why I like it. Next, I'm going to go through kind of the rest of ingredients of Gorilla Mind, and finally, I'm going to go through what the experience is like on Gorilla Mind, because yes, I could pull out all these studies and I could show you what all of these do, but realistically, that doesn't actually matter. What matters is, does it work, does it have any side effects, and is it safe to take? And before we continue, no, none of this is medical advice, so please don't take it as such. This is simply one human being telling another human being their experience. And also, guys, have you tried any nootropics? Let me know in the comments down below. I want to know more about nootropics, and I kind of want to try more of them now that I've found at least one that works. But now, Alpha GPC. So the short version of it is it's able to deliver choline to your brain across the blood-brain barrier. Now, this is important because choline is a very important precursor to acetylcholine, which is a neurotransmitter that does not get nearly the love that it deserves. Everyone talks about dopamine, everyone talks about serotonin and cortisol, but nobody talks about acetylcholine, which I don't understand because acetylcholine is very important for memory formation, for brain speed, and just for overall brain health. So guys, let's give a little more love to acetylcholine. But by essentially upregulating your acetylcholine, what that does is that really does help your memory, it helps your overall brain function, and it takes away some of that brain fog, which is really, really appreciated. Now, the main drawbacks that I can see with taking too much acetylcholine, and again, there is not enough research about this, but the long-term implications are probably that if you upregulate your acetylcholine for a long time, eventually your brain naturally starts making less and less and less. And this is essentially what happens with basically every other drug that you take, including things like alcohol, things like marijuana, things like caffeine, how, you know, in the beginning, 1 glass of caffeine was really good, and now you need to take 12 every single day. Your brain is very good at being really annoying about making sure it is optimized. Basically, anytime you take something, it immediately downregulates every other thing that thing boosts. And so I would highly, highly recommend against taking this every single day for a prolonged period of time, because eventually you'll just need it just to have enough acetylcholine for you to function normally. And so you're kind of losing all of the brain boosting power that it actually gives you. You just kind of need it to go about your regular everyday life. As for the rest of the ingredients in Gorilla Mind, I would not concern myself with them too much. Now, I know that sounds like a complete cop-out in a supplement video. However, hear me out for just 1 second. And the reason behind that is because I've taken just Alpha GPC, I've taken Gorilla Mind, I've talked to people that just taken Alpha GPC and who then took Gorilla Mind, and really the only difference, at least in Gorilla Mind Rush, is the caffeine L-theanine combo really gives you that initial boost of energy, which I really appreciate. Caffeine and L-theanine are a really good combo together. It's the combo that's in green tea that makes it so it's not such a wild spike and then kind of a wave. It's instead more of a subtle wave and then a subtle taper off. But beyond that, I really don't feel much different on Gorilla Mind versus on just Alpha GPC. And I have actually looked into all of the ingredients in this, and I read some articles about it, and they all seem like they're great ingredients. I'd honestly rather have all of them in there than not have them in there. However, they are definitely more beneficial in the long term to help keep your brain active and sharp, because most of them are really good against Alzheimer's and dementia, which are things that I'm frankly a little bit scared of. I would not want to start losing my mind because my mind is essentially just degrading. And so it's good that they're in there. It's beneficial that they're in there. However, that doesn't concern me too much because their immediate effect isn't really all that much. Now, that's not throwing shade at Gorilla Mind, but that's my honest opinion, as I don't think they really make that much of a difference. But now, for the thing you have all been waiting for, what does it feel like? What does Gorilla Mind Alpha GPC actually quantifiably feel like? And I gotta say, it feels pretty good. Essentially, what I can compare this to is it makes you feel more like you. It gets rid of a fair bit of my mental fog on days that I have mental fog. It allows me to focus on tasks a lot more thoroughly than I would otherwise be able to. It allows me to switch from task to task to task without it consuming so much mental willpower. It essentially just allows me to think 5 to 10% more clearly or 5 to 10% more sharply and quickly. I definitely feel like I come to conclusions and come to the answers a lot quicker when I'm on it than when I'm off it, especially when I use this for school. On days where I have a test or I have some sort of school, I 100% take this, and I have been taking it, and it really lets you relax a lot more because you know you're gonna be just a little bit sharper than you would be otherwise. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, Shoma, this sounds too good to be true. It sounds like I really need to smash that subscribe button so that I can keep up with all of your videos. It really sounds like it is something out of a storybook. It's like one of those like limitless pills. And I do have to say, I am making it sound a little better than it actually is. Keep in mind, it does make me feel 5 to 10% better, but 5 to 10% better is honestly not that much. It's not modafinil or Ritalin levels of, oh my god, I'm so productive. It's not like that. It's more grounded. You just feel more alert. You feel more awake, and you're able to get to things a lot quicker. And finally, in terms of dosage, I've actually tried several regimens. I tried everything from taking it every day for a week, I've tried taking it only once a week, but I think the sweet spot is taking it twice a week. And the reason I say that is because I definitely noticed when I took it every day for a week, on Monday, I would feel sharp and strong and great. On Tuesday, I'd feel the same. By Wednesday, I'd start to feel not as great. By Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I'd start to really be kind of my baseline, and by Sunday, I basically didn't feel anything. And then on Monday, though I didn't have any withdrawals, there wasn't any like headaches or anything that I've heard some people have, but I definitely felt a little more sluggish. I definitely felt like I needed to take it in order for me to get back to my former glory. And so it's definitely not a supplement that you likely want to take every day. I do have friends that take it 5 days a week and they say it's fine, so it really just does depend on you as an individual and your biology. I tend to adapt to things a little more quickly than I'd like to, and so I'm definitely just sticking to twice a week for now. That's been my sweet spot, and usually take between 2 and 3 pills, and that is between 6 and 900 milligrams of Alpha GPC. And finally, I do just want to touch on why I personally choose Gorilla Mind as my supplement of choice for Alpha GPC versus another, maybe cheaper, generic alternative. And that mainly boils down to I just trust More Plates, More Dates, aka Derek. I believe I'm getting that correct. I actually trust him. I've been watching his channel. He really does feel to me like he knows what he's talking about. And most importantly, his reputation and I think a lot of his livelihood does ride on the fact that this is a good supplement. Meaning, if he for some reason slacks off on the quality of it and people catch him, that would be really bad for him, and he seems like he's a logical enough guy to come to that conclusion. Because ultimately, any supplement company can claim anything, and frankly, most of them claim a whole lot, and I would assume a whole lot more than what they actually do, because ultimately supplements are a business. But I'm really looking for those guys that are in it for the long run versus those guys that are in it for the short run. That's why I chose to go with the Aura Ring. That's why I chose to go with Life Cycle when I was trying out Lion's Mane. That's why I chose to go with real mushrooms for my other mushroom needs. As well as that's why I'm a die-hard fan of Bulletproof. I really do believe that those supplement companies that in the end think more long-term and have more long-term investment in their actual brand and in their quality ultimately will just have a much better quality, and so I'm willing to pay a little bit more of a premium for it versus those generic brands where you really have no idea where they come from and there's absolutely no accountability. If you've made it this far, please do consider smashing that subscribe button, because ultimately, together, we can do so much more than any of us can do alone. And do let me know, have you tried other nootropics? I actually really want to start compiling a list of all the ones that I haven't tried and actually systematically go through them and figure out how I feel on them, how I feel off them. Do they work? Do they not work? So I really want to make this more of a series. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.